So this is a screencast to show a solution to the IB Math Studies exam style question. This one here about the volume of prisms, which involves a little bit of trigonometry. So, question simply says, can you work out the volume of the prism pictured below? Well, if we look carefully at the picture, we can see that we have the base and we have the length, but we don't have this perpendicular height here, which is what we'd need to work out the surface area of this triangle. So which could then the cross section, which we could then multiply by the length. So we're going to need a little trigonometry to make any progress with this here. And we look at this triangle, which is the cross-sectional area of the prism. I'm going to say, well, okay, I've got my angle, I've got this one, and I've got this one. So if I look at the angle, I'm looking at the opposite side and the adjacent side to that angle. And if we all have our own ways of remembering this, but if you're someone who uses SOHCAHTOA, you'll remember that opposite and adjacent is related to tan. So I can say here that tan of 25 equals x over 10, opposite over adjacent, and from that I can say that x must equal 10 lots of tan 25. Now I'm going to keep that like that rather than calculate it, because I haven't actually been asked for that value. I just need to use that value in order to work out the area of the triangle. So the area of this triangle here, this one here, well, it's the base times the height divided by 2. So my base is 10, so the area of the triangle is going to be equal to the base 10 times by the height, which is this here that we've just worked out, 10 tan 25. Okay, and then I'm going to have to divide that by 2. Right, now I can do a little quick simplifying here. I don't have to, but I think it might just help me to keep things a little bit in order. That's going to be 100, 10 times 10 tan 25, 100 tan 25 divided by 2. So I'm actually going to have 50 tan 25 as my area. The volume then is that area, which is 50 tan 25 times 18. Okay, because that's how it's the volume of the cross-sectional area multiplied by the length of the prism. So I'm going to grab my calculator here and put that in, see what it comes out as. And because I left it as tan 25, I'm not going to get any rounding errors, but it doesn't matter. You would still get the marks if you had worked that out, written down your answer, and then used it in the next stage. Okay, so don't worry too much about that. So the volume is going to be, I'm going to do the 18 times first, 18 times 50 tan 25. Bearing in mind with trigonometry, I always need to be sure that my calculator is running in degrees and not radians. Okay, and my answer there, 419 in several decimal places, and as I often recommend, you should write down all the decimal places. So the volume is equal to 419.6768923. It's my full calculator display, just to make sure that I pick up as many marks as I can. Now I'll round it to 3 significant figures. And that's going to be a slightly tricky one, isn't it? Because that's the 3rd significant figure. The next one's a 6, which means that has to go up to 0, and that one too. So the answer to 3 significant figures is 420. The units are centimetres, so let's remember to include the units as centimetres cubed, and the question is done.